After you get the grain mill set up and you're ready to mill, there's a couple things that you need to do. Some people voice concern over potentially grain harboring bacteria, and you are using this as a fermenter. So if you're really, really concerned, you can put a bag in it, put the mill on top, and start your mill. To adjust the mill is very simple. These kind of wing nut looking things here, you loosen them up, then you take these knobs and you dial it in. To be honest with you, I pretty much eyeball it. You can get a set of feeler gauges and you can go to 0.031, 0.039, whatever. But you want to mill to your system. And you want to mill close enough where you don't impact your lauter and you want to have good efficiency. That's why you got the mill in the first place. The homebrew store, they can mill however they want. They probably want the least amount of complaints, so they mill coarsely. And people make beer, and maybe they make beer at 60 or 65% efficiency, and that's fantastic. But the reason you got the mill was that you could do bulk buys and you could mill exactly how you wanted. I prefer to go finer on a crush. I've never had a stuck sparge. So again, eyeball it. You can kind of see. If it's moved to one side, you want to even it out. I've heard of some people using credit cards to gap their mill. It's all trial and error. I recommend running a handful through there, checking it out. Take a look at some pictures on the internet, what it constitutes a good crush, and then go with that. Otherwise, for drills, I would not recommend a battery-powered drill. It doesn't have enough torque, in my experience, to get through 15 pounds of grain. It'll want to bind up a lot, and when stuff binds up, it tends to want to burn out. Even a standard wall mount drill on my other application, if I want to crush finely, it wants to bind. And sometimes when it wants to bind, you can encourage it, of course, when the drill's off. Take your fingers and spin it a little bit and get it through a couple kernels, and then it'll start again. Something you can do also, if you have a friend, you can start your mill with your drill, have nothing in the hopper, and have your friend pour. So you kind of give it a head start or a momentum. But first, let me show you how to affix your drill to the shaft here. Here's your drill. This is a 3/8 shaft, 3/8 diameter. You slide it on. Then you take your chuck and you turn it. Get it nice and snug on there. And then you're ready to go. I'd like to share some of the information I've learned over 12 years of beer brewing. When it comes to a mill, don't skip on expense. You get what you pay for. I'm not one to endorse anything specifically, but I have two monster mills. I have one here, and I have one in my Asian application. And these are awesome mills. I have the 2-roller here, 1, 2, as you can see. And they offer them with a couple different varieties. If I had it to do again, I would not get the 3/8. I would spend the extra $15, I think it is, and I would get the 1/2-inch shaft. And why that is, it'll still fit your drill here, but when you choose to motorize your drill, you have to put a large pulley on this, or sieve, I believe it's pronounced. Unfortunately, to bring down the RPMs, if your motor is 1500 or 1800 RPMs, which the electric motors tend to be, you don't want this 1-to-1. You don't want this spinning at 1800 RPM. It'll just cruise through your grain. Instead, the manufacturer recommends 300 to 400 RPM, so you have to step it down. In order to step it down, you have to get something like this. It's about 10 inches, and you have to put it on the shaft there. Going from 3/8 to 3/4 and getting an adapter is really difficult. However, going from a 1/2 inch to 3/4 is quite a bit easier. I probably have to get an adapter made for this, and that's quite a bit more expensive than the $15 it would have cost me to initially invest in that. But that's no big deal. As far as drills go, like I mentioned, battery power is generally no good for this. Consumer stuff they make for the house is kind of an underkill. This is my grandfather's drill, and he left it to my father, and I've picked it up now. And we can only estimate it's been made in the 50s. But it runs at 400 RPM, which is about perfect for this mill. And it runs like it doesn't even feel it. And it's just a so much better experience. And this is the only thing I use this thing for, is just to operate my mill, and I'm really happy with it. I do have the 3-roller monster mill in Korea, and it's an overkill. So you could save your money. I recommend, again, in closing, the 2-roller, 1/2-inch monster mill from Monster Mill, I believe. Thanks.